Hey guys, in this video we're going to be going over inputs. So let's just type in here input, which is a function, built-in function in Python. And remember, functions have parentheses on the end of their name. And as you can see here, our parameter that it wants is a prompt. So a prompt is basically whatever the user sees to indicate what they should be typing in. So I'm just going to put in here string, and I'm going to say, what is your name? And when we run this, as you can see, we get a string here that says what is your name, and we also get a cursor. So if I type in here VJ and hit enter, as you can see, nothing happened. Well, we can actually set a variable to this input. So if I say here name equals, and we do this input, and after this I print what the name is, then when we run this and I say my name is VJ, as you can see, we print out our name. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a few things from the user, right? Let's say that we also want a age. So I'm going to use our special syntax that we learned before with age, with name, comma, age equals input. And I'm going to do another input here, and I'm going to say, what is your age? And now when we run this, we get, what is your name? And we'll put our name as VJ, and our age is 20. And I forgot to print the age, but let's print age here, and let me put a space here, and run it again. Put in our name and age, and right here we get print of VJ and 20. So now let's make this a little bit more complicated. Let's go back to our sim example that we've been using in the last couple of videos about test driving Teslas. So what we're going to want here is we're going to want a name equals input, and we're going to say enter in your name, and we also want an age, and we want to input enter in your age. But I'm actually going to comment this out for right now, and what we need to do here first is we need to make a function. So let's make a function called check VIP, and we're going to need a name to check if they're in the VIP list, and let's set another VIP list again with my name, Bob, and Jeff. And what we want to do now is we want to see if name in VIP will return true. And instead of just returning true here, we can also return 1. This is the same thing as a true, because any number that is not 0 equates to true, including negative numbers. So I'm just going to return 1 here, and if we're not in the VIP list, then we're going to return 0, because that is false. So now when we come down here and we check VIP, I'm going to pass in our name, and what we're going to see here is we enter in our name, we're going to say VJ, and oops, and I forgot to print out what our value that we got was. So enter in our name, and we get a value of 1. Let's enter in another name that's not on there, and we get 0. So what we can do now is we can say somebody comes up to the door at the Tesla shop, and the person in the front asks them, what is your name? So we give them our name, and then we want to see if, and then we want to check VIP with that name that they were just given. So if that returns true, now we want to do something else, right? Now we need to check if their age is actually valid as well. So we want to check age, and we're going to pass in the age. But before we check the age, we need to actually even get the age. So we're going to say age equals input, and I'm just going to copy it from right here above. And get rid of this. And now we have age equals that. And when we check the age, we need to say if check age, then we'll say access granted. And we need to print that. Okay, and then we'll say else here. Then we'll print you are not old enough. Okay, so we need to make this function now. So we'll say define check age, and we're just going to receive an age. And here we need to say if age is greater than or equal to 21, we'll return 1 for true, and if it's not, we'll return 0 for false. So now when we run this here, we're gonna enter in our name. Say my name is VJ and my age is 20. And as you can see right here, oh, again, we are comparing age against a string. So I'm passing in here age. Oh, okay. So whenever we get input from the user through the console, it's actually a string. So if I were to comment this out right here, and I'm going to print age and the type of age, and let me enter my name, and then age, as you can see, 20 is actually a string. So the program actually sees it as this instead of this. So to fix this, we need to cast it. So to cast this to an integer, we can say int, and then surround all of this. And now when we do this, now we can say you are not, now we see that we are not old enough. So let's run it again, enter in a correct name, and let's enter in a good age, and it says access granted. Now, remember how we saw before that when I entered in my name and the age was not correct, it told us that we were not old enough? Well, that's because, first of all, our name was on the VIP list. So now, let me get on this same indentation level as check VIP and say else. And so if we're not on the VIP list, we're going to say you are not on the list. So now when I run this, and I'm going to make sure that everything else was working before as it was. So it says we're not old enough, even though we're on the VIP list. And now we're going to say we are old enough, and we get access granted. Now let's enter in a name that's not on the VIP list. So let's say John. And as you can see, it says you are not on the list. And we don't even get inside of this block here to check for age or get an input for age. So that's how we can use inputs in Python. And in the next video, we're going to be going over modules.